Have you ever drafted a basic bodice and it just didn't sit right on the body? Today, I'm going to show you how to draft a perfect basic bodice using Natalie Bray's method. This method is mostly used by top fashion designers. With this bodice, you can manipulate it to get your perfect bustier, corset, and any other style. If you want clean structure, accurate fits, and professional results, please pay attention closely. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, thank you so much for stopping by, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for sticking to my channel. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Without any further ado, let's get started. Here are the measurements we are going to be using. So for Natalie Bray's method, it is measured in centimeter and not in inches, okay? You are going to take your client's measurements in centimeters. That is the other side of the tape rule. The tape rule is measured in inches and in centimeter, okay? The first measurement we have here is our bust measurement, which is 94 centimeter, which is the fullest part of our bust, okay? The next measurement is the waist measurement. To get your client's natural waist, what you will do is to tie a rope on the natural waistline, okay? And you take your tape rule to measure around the waistline, alright? The next measurement is the hip, which is the fullest part of our hip, and that is 106 centimeters. The next measurement is the chest width. That is the distance between the two armhole at the chest area, okay? The next measurement is the shoulder. For Natalie Bray's method, we don't take the entire shoulder measurement. You take the measurement from one side of the shoulder, okay? The next measurement is from shoulder to waistline, the natural waistline where the rope is being tied on, okay? And the next measurement is back to waist. This is taken from the center back on the neck down to the waist. So this waist is also the natural waist where the rope is being tied on. And the next measurement is waist to hip, okay? So these are the measurements we are going to be working with, alright? Natalie Bray has a size chart, which is the one I'm showing you right now. You can get this size chart online. You can download it or screenshot it, alright? This size chart will be needed whenever you want to draft a basic bodice for a client, alright? This chart is going to be used to compare three measurements, which are the back width, the chest width, and the shoulder measurement, okay? So this is how the chart works. If what you have on the chart is bigger than what you have on your client's measurements, then you will have to work with what you have on the chart. But if your client's measurement is bigger than what you have on the chart, you will stick with your client's measurements. Please don't be confused, just pay attention. I'm going to explain it to you right now, okay? We are going to be using the bust measurements as a guideline. So for these measurements, the bust is 94 centimeter. On the chart, you will see that there is no 94. So we are going to be using the next value higher than 94, which is 96, and that is on Roman figure 5. So this is the rule line I'm going to be working with, okay? But if your client's bust measurement is 84, you are going to work with 84 because it is on the chart. On Roman figure 5, I will look for the back width, which is 37 or 38. I'll compare it with what I have on the paper. I have 38 centimeter here, so that means I'm going to be working with 38 centimeter. The next measurement I'll be checking is the chest width. We have 39 centimeter. On the paper, we have 38 centimeter. So we are going to be working with the 39 centimeter. Don't forget I said we are going to be working with the higher figure, okay? The next measurement to compare is the shoulder. Chart, we have 13 centimeter. And on the paper, we also have 13 centimeter. So we are going to be working with the 13 centimeter. The other side of the chart is where we have our proportions. So still using the Roman figure 5, I will check what I have at point O, and I'm going to write it out. So I have 3.5, I'll write it out. I'll write out what I have for back neck width, depth of armhole, the backup, and darts. These are the values of what I got for back of neck width, depth of armhole, backup, and darts. Let's go ahead and draft our pattern. What about the paper here? I'm going to mark 1 inch across. This will serve at the top line. Okay, then I'll use my ruler to draw a straight line. At the side of the paper here, I'm going to come in by 1 inch also. So I'm going to go all the way down. I'll also use my ruler to draw a straight line. I'll be drafting both the front and the back bodies on this paper. To determine the length of the paper that will be needed, I'm going to be dividing my hip measurement by 2, okay? 106 divided by 2 gives me 53. To prevent overlapping of the pattern, I will subtract my bust from my hip measurements. This gives me 12 centimeters. So the rule says if your value is greater than 6, you will add 3 centimeters. If your value is less than 5, you will add 5 centimeters. The value I got is 12 centimeters, which means it is greater than 6. So I will add 3 centimeters to the 53 centimeters that I have. Adding 3 to that makes it 56 centimeters. I'll go ahead to my paper now, and I'm going to mark the 50 centimeters across, just like this. So the 56 centimeters will be enough for me to draft the front and the back bodies, okay? So this is the center front, okay? And the other end is the center back. So I'm going to be dividing this box into 2, which I'll be using to draft the back and the front bodies, okay? So I'm going to be starting with the back bodies, okay? So I'm going to be marking my point O right here, which is 3.5. I will mark it and label it point O. So every measurement are going to be starting from that point O, not from the top line, okay? From point O, I will mark the depth of armhole, which is 22 centimeters, okay? Mark it right here. I will also mark my shoulder to back waist, which is 41 centimeters. I also mark my waist to hip measurements. After that is done, I went ahead to draw a straight line across to meet the center front line, okay? So I'm going to start with the back bodies. From point O, I will mark my neck of back width, which is 7.5. I will use my ruler to draw a straight line. I will mark a constant of 2 centimeters upward, just like this. The 2 centimeters is a constant for everybody, okay? From point O, I will place my tape rule downward and mark 3 centimeters. This is also a constant, okay? On that 3 centimeters, I will mark my back width divided by 2, which is 38 divided by 2. That gives me 18 centimeters. I will use my ruler to draw a straight line. I labeled it as my back width. On the depth of my armhole, which is also known as the bust line, I will duplicate what I have on my back width right there, the 18 inches. Then I will connect the 2 points together with a straight line. At this point, I will mark a constant of 2 centimeters. I will connect this to the neck points. This is our shoulder slope. To get the armhole curve, I will place my tape rule from point O to the depth of armhole. Then I will divide it by 2. Then draw a straight line. I will make a diagonal of 3 cm at this point. This is also a constant, okay? Then I will mark my backup, which is 6 cm right here. I will connect them together with my curve ruler. So this is our armhole curve for the back, okay? I will connect this point to meet my hip, just like this. Next thing to do is to shape the center back. On the waistline, I'll come in by 2.5 cm. For a plus size person, you can come in by 3 cm. Okay? You draw a line connecting it back to the bust point and the other line to the hip line. Okay? So now let's draft the front bodice. The front pattern is going to start from the top line. The top line is going to be our point O, which is what I've written here. From point O, I will mark my neck depth, which is 7.5. For someone that is bigger, you can use 8 or 8.5. The next thing is to mark the neck width, which is 7.5. This is the same as the back neck width, okay? I'm using my ruler to draw a straight line. I will also roll it upward to create a box. From point O, which is the top line, I'll come down by 4.5. I'm using 4.5 because my neck depth is 7.5. If you use 8 cm as your neck depth, you will mark 4 cm. On that 4 cm point, you will mark a constant of 16.5 cm. So this is a constant, it works for everybody. So I'm going to be drawing a straight line right here. Get my shoulder slope. I'm going to add my shoulder measurement, which is 13, plus my dart, which is 8 cm. That gives me 21. I will place my tape rule this way. I made sure it touched that 6.5 line. Then I went ahead to mark my 21 cm. Please make sure it touches that point, okay? And I'm going to draw a straight line. This is our shoulder slope. So I added 8 cm dart because there's going to be a shoulder dart. How I got these broken lines, I didn't know my camera wasn't recording. From this point, place your tape measure like this. Mark your chest measurement divided by 4. This is also known as your nipple to nipple point measurement. I also went ahead to mark whatever I got on my bust line. At the bust line, I came down by a constant of 2 cm. Label it as X. I connected the points together with a dotted line. From the broken line, I'll mark 2 cm. Then I connect it to point X with a straight line. Up next, I went ahead to mark my dart measurement, which is 8 cm. Okay? I marked it on the shoulder slope. Then I connect it back to point X, just like this. To get the chest line, I'm going to mark a constant of 4 cm upward, just the way I'm doing right here. At the 4 cm, I'm going to mark my chest width divided by 2, which is 18.5 cm. I went ahead to mark it right here. Now I'll be using my ruler to draw a straight line. So I'm going to measure the allowance here and I'm going to add it back to that line. Now connect it also with the ruler. I will will draw a straight line down to the bust line. Then I will also connect it to the shoulder slope. To draw my armhole curve, I will place my tape rule from my shoulder slope to the chest line, and I will divide it by 2. At that midpoint, I'm going to come in by 1 centimeter. You know, the front armhole is always deeper than the back armhole. At this point, I'm going to mark a diagonal of 1.5 centimeter. You know, for the back we use 3 centimeter, so I'm going to divide that by 2, which gives me 1.5 centimeter. Okay. After that is done, I'm going to use my curve ruler to create my armhole curve right here. To get a backup for the front armhole, I will divide my bust measurement by 2, which gives me 47. I'll take the measurement of the bust line at the back. The value I got, I'm going to subtract it from 47, which gives me 21. So the rule says whatever you have, you add 5 centimeter to it. So right now I'm marking 26 centimeter right here. So right now I'm going to complete my armhole curve. So right here I'm going to connect this point to the hip line. I'll connect it with a straight line. So right now I'm trying to erase the margin line I drew before so that I can see the shape properly. Right now I'm going to be marking my actual bust line, which is also known as my shoulder to nipple point. So I came down by 4 centimeter. Then I'm going to draw a straight line. So that is the actual bust line, okay? From the waistline, I will go down by 2 centimeter. For a plus side, you can go as low as 2.5 to 3 centimeter. The sides, I'll come down by 1 centimeter. I'll also do the same at the back sides. I'll go ahead to draw a straight line to connect them together. I'll also do the same for the back, connecting the 1 centimeter back to the waistline. This is our new waistline, okay? We all know our front waistline is always lower than our back waistline. To get a dashed line, I will mark the nipple to nipple measurement, which is also the chest width divided by 4. I will draw a straight line connecting into the actual bust line. I measured from my actual bust line to the new waistline. The value I got, I added 2 cm to it to draw the down part of the dart. Okay, so now to the dart distribution and the shaping of the bodice. I will place my tape measure and measure from the center front to the side. I'll go ahead and record what I have there. I will also take my tape measure and measure for the side of the back to the center of the back. I'm going to write down what I have there also. I'm going to add the two values together, okay? The waist measurement of the bodice is 80 cm. So I will divide the waist measurement by 2, which gives me 40 cm. I'm going to be subtracting that from the waist measurement I measured on the pattern. That gives me 11 cm. So to share the darts, front dart is going to be 30% of 11. Side dart is going to be 50% of 11. While back dart is going to be 20% of 11. For the front dart, it gives me 3.3. I am going to be sharing it in between the dart leg. I'm going to be drawing a straight line to connect it to the actual bust line, and I'll also draw a straight line to connect it to the dart leg on the hip line, okay? For the side dart, the value is 5.5. So I'm going to be sharing it in between the front side and the back side. So right now I'm going to be connecting it to the actual bust line using my curve ruler. So I'm going to use my ruler to connect it from the waist to the hip line. So right now I'm also going to mark the side dart on the back. Okay. To get the dart line at the back, I divided my back width by 4 and I went up by 14 cm. I added 2 cm to that and I used it to mark the lower part of the dart, which is 16 cm. That distribution for the back is 2.2. I divided that into 2 and I marked it on each side of the darts. After that is done, I went ahead to draw my darts. I'm erasing the unwanted lines so that you can see the pattern clearly. I will close the shoulder dart by picking the first dart leg. Please don't pick the second dart leg. After picking the dart leg, I'm going to close it like this. I'll make sure you meet the second dart leg. I will use my ruler to draw a straight line so that it's going to connect back to the shoulder line there. Okay? So right now I'm going to use my tracing wheel to trace out these parts. After I'm done doing that, I'll open it up. I'm going to trace the dotted line with my ruler. Then I'll also create a line in the middle. On the front neckline, I will mark a diagonal of 3 cm. Then I will use my curve ruler to create the neckline. At the back neckline, I will mark a diagonal of 1.5 cm. I will use my ruler to draw my neckline. Next thing to do is to cross check. I'll fold my shoulder darts and measure my shoulder. I will also measure my back shoulder slope to be sure if they are the same. I realize the back slope is longer than the front slope, so I reduce it by 1 cm. Then I'm going to connect it back to the armhole curve. The next thing I'm going to be doing is to take the measurements from my bust line to the waist line at the back. Then also take the measurement from my bust line to the waist line. I'll compare the values together. I realize the back bodice is shorter, so I'm going to come up by 1 cm. So I'll connect that to the armhole curve, okay? Our bodice is ready, so I'll go ahead and cut it now. I want you to know that this method is not hard. You just need to practice more and more. You can practice for like 2 to 3 times for you to know it, okay? When you use this bodice to make your dress or for your client's dress, you will see it's going to give it a perfect fit. If you have any questions while drafting this pattern, please drop your question on the comment section. I'm going to reply to all of them. From this basic bodice now, you can manipulate it to get your corset, your bustier, any type of corset, Victorian corset, and it's going to give you a perfect fit, okay? Thank you so much for watching to the end. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you in my next tutorial. Bye bye.